volunteers in Sydney mobilized to help 4 families clean up after heavy rains and flooding. Chen Xuanhao overcame early loss of his father to become a talented artist and a good student. I'm Sean Scanlon. This is DI Headlines. Let's get started. In southeastern Australia, heavy rains caused severe flooding, with Tzu Chi volunteers from Sydney mobilizing 21 volunteers to help 4 families clean up. Here's more.
Windsor, 47 kilometers away from Tzu Chi, Australia, became a flood area with heavy rain in late March.
We opened the front door, our fridge was floating in the hallway, everything was tipped over, our lounges were underwater, like even the mattress, you can see the mattresses and beds underwater, and I just cried.
Tzu Chi volunteers visit the disaster area twice and find families in need of assistance.
We've been here 20 years, and this is the biggest flood that we've seen. It went up to the second level.
Volunteers help clean the usable furniture.
Seeing the plight of others, I know that I'm very blessed.
After the water receded, the volunteers repeatedly scrubbed the salt accumulated in the room.
And my sister who lives here, her name is Michelle. And on behalf of us and the family, we just really cry. We really want to say thank you.
On the streets, there are piles of the items that have been discarded by each household. In Dell's home, the plastic floor have to be removed. Huang Guolun, a software designer, and Dr. Li Xingying also made a special trip to join assistance team. They all work together to help the residents in need.
For you coming out and helping us.
Yeah.
And you've done a wonderful job.
Yeah, okay.
And I really appreciate it.
Volunteers work through places that had flood water, which was at least 100 centimeters deep. With volunteers' love and support, the residents will gradually rebuild their lives.
In Malaysia, a woman has suffering from a mental disorder cannot take care of herself. Tzu Chi volunteers clean up her home, providing a more sanitary environment to live in. Take a look.
The clothes are changed with faces and union. It is over the house. This is not a place suitable for living. It seems to be an abandoned place, but someone lives here. It's truly pitiful. I really do not know what to do.
The terribly dirty environment is the home of Miss Chen. She has suffered from mental disorder due to abuse of medications and cannot take care of herself. Fortunately, her neighbor has sought help on her behalf.
Today, we have come with other Tzu Chi volunteers and sisters. Concerned about her health, we have come to help her wash up.
Having known Miss Chen for a long time, the neighbors care a lot about Miss Chen.
I have trimmed her hair many times, and I do not charge her. Seeing how her mental conditions are worsened, I'm grateful Tzu Chi volunteers are helping her.
I help her spray disinfectant. Now it is your turn to help her disinfect the place. I mix the disinfectant and help disinfect her house. This is good for her and it also benefits me.
Despite her mental disorder, Miss Chen is aware of how people are helping her.
Thank you for coming to clean up the place for me and also bathe me.
After cleaning up for a whole day, the volunteers spray disinfectant in the house. Miss Chen's living environment has become cleaner and safer.
50-year-old Miss Chen has diabetes and is also bedridden due to a stroke. Her mother, who is 78, still takes care of her. Tzu Chi volunteers and Guangzhou and Tzu Chi hospital staff help the family with home improvements.
Inside the small old metal shack home in the city of Taiwan lives Mrs. Chen and her 78-year-old mother.
Before seeing where she lived, we only knew her by her illness, but after seeing her home and going inside,
It's obvious that a healthy person living in such an environment will eventually be sick, on top of which she is compromised.
50-year-old Mrs. Chen has diabetes and suffered a stroke. She relies on her mother for everything. Recently, their home condition worsened and is in need of repairs, but they are unable to do so on their own. Thus, the superintendent of Guanshan Tzu Chi Hospital and 20-some medical staff came by to help the family out.
Guanshan Tzu Chi volunteers are also here to help. We all hope they can live in a better place to achieve a happier life.
We wish her the best, as with improvements to her home, she can feel mentally refreshed, which will then affect her physical health a little.
Looking after Mrs. Chen and her family's health, the superintendent makes sure they feel his and the staff's love and care.
Thank you so much for your help. I'm so grateful for you. I'm very happy.
In Malaysia, a 10-year-old boy, Oh Sen-Tze, had abnormal kidney function when he was 6 years old and had to undergo dialysis. His mother hoped to transplant her own kidney to her son. Tzu Chi volunteers stayed by their side to give them encouragement.
大家好，我的名字叫黄生哲，我今年11岁，我浑身开心过头，所以我不会痛，我开心了就不痛了。
From the age of 6, Huang Shenzhe had abnormal renal function and has lived a life of dialysis since then. His mother was the most reluctant.
At that time, I saw this result. I was really locked at home. I just didn't understand why I didn't do bad things. How could the child have such an illness?
Yang Jingfen wanted to transplant one of her kidneys to her son. After years of hard work, the wish was finally fulfilled last year. Tzu Chi volunteers also gave their blessings on the eve of the operation.
When you needed comfort, Tzu Chi came to give me blessings before I was going to have the operation. I was touched. I also experienced things that can't be bought with money, and I feel very comforted.
One day when we came to her house, we found out that her son had to undergo kidney dialysis frequently. We all came to give them blessings and hope that his kidney transplant will go successfully.
The greatness of the maternal love allows Shenzhe to understand the value of the life and the heart-warm health. It also allows him to cherish all life and learn to be a vegetarian.
He's very sensible, and I don't need to remind him many things. Instead, he did a good job. I also want to thank him because I have wanted to be a vegetarian for a long time, but I just couldn't make that step, so he immediately to be a vegetarian with me.
I made a wish to be a vegetarian. I'll definitely be a vegetarian every day until I'm old.
The seeds of love are slowly sprouting in Shenzhe's heart. In the future, he will face the test of life stronger and become a true brave man.
In Kaohsiung, a 60-year-old couple are devoted to each other. Even though the husband has been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, he did not stop to rest after having surgery, instead hurrying home to take care of his wife, who has had a stroke. Tzu Chi volunteers helped the couple move to a new home and clean the house, hoping to improve their situation.
Helping his wife in the bathroom with gentle movements, Mr. and Mrs. Zhou are both nearly 60 years old and depend on only each other despite difficulties.
He's not as strong as he was in the past, so when he helps her, she has to keep steady too. And if his strength suddenly fails, then both might fall over.
After having a stroke, Mrs. Zhou suffered a decline in her speaking and movement abilities. Although Mr. Zhou has Parkinson's disease, he kept worrying about leaving his wife alone, so he hurried home only 3 days after having a surgery. At the nursing home before, Mrs. Zhou developed a rash. Mr. Zhou could not bear to leave her alone, so he decided to take on the task of her care on his own.
他是个非常有责任的先生啊。
他比较严重啊。
我弟弟，我弟弟，我知道我的。
Still worrying about her hospitalized brother despite their own disabilities, Mr. and Mrs. Zhou have to move house due to the rent contract expiring. Tzu Chi volunteers who have been caring for them for almost a decade came to help clean the house and move.
We brought a lot of boxes from the Jingsa Books and Cafe to help them move.
Because of their health, they need to have a lighter diet. Mung beans are good. Drops tears are good for the skin. Mung beans can help cooling down. Apples for peace. Raisins to improve energy. We hope that they can get better soon.
Volunteers also prepared a healthy dish, hoping that the care recipients will be able to overcome their diseases and recover their health and strength.
Today we meet Chen Xuanhao, who has lost his beloved father due to a stroke at age 4. His mother had to work 3 jobs to support the family, leading him to care for himself. He has also attended many drawing contests and won many scholarships. Here is our report.
Thanks to Chen Xuanhao, the first class of 6th graders always have special games to play on Dongsi Elementary School soccer field.
He has created some games and made a lot of toys, and he shares them with his classmates.
This creative child comes from a family full of love. Xuanhao's father loves him very much. When they went on trips, his father would embrace him. However, after Xuanhao celebrated his 4th birthday, everything has changed.
In the middle of the night, I received a phone call saying he was passed away in the hospital and he was the only person at work. When people discovered him, it was 4 o'clock in the morning.
Young Xuanhao and his younger sister have participated in his father's funeral. The 4-year-old boy seemed to have grown up overnight.
He is very repressed. He is also strong. He is mature early. When his father passed away, he did not cry. Later, when he took a shower, he cried.
While his father passed away at age 38, they have to move forward. His mother had to work 3 jobs.
After delivering noodles, I came back to work on Tin Huayin. After I brought them back to eat dinner, I rushed to work again at 5 o'clock. I worked till 8 o'clock.
Xuanhao did his homework, ate dinner, and washed the dishes by himself. He did not worry anyone. Xuanhao, who loves to draw, spent his Saturdays in a drawing room.
先把它打底色，底色是一个弧度，所以要再延伸过来。
His tutoring fees are paid by scholarship he won in competitions. He has won an award in National Student Drawing Contest. He completed his book, My Pictures, when he was in 1st grade, and the main character is his father.
I miss my father very much. My mother said that when I miss my father, I can close my eyes and then my father will be by my side.
In the future, Xuanhao aspires to become an architect. He wants to build a house and bring his father home so that children won't have regrets. His mother also created family portraits.
It's computer generated. I try to make it look natural, or at least he will feel that his father hasn't left them. He has accompanied them at different stages.
Autism is special pathology that combines cognition and language. Autism is divided into mild, moderate, and severe cases, though if it can be detected early, intervention and treatment can lead to excellent improvement. Take a look.
Autistic children are often compared to stars in the sky. This metaphor exists because, like stars in the sky, they shine alone in the dark night and are both mysterious and elusive.
If you look at autism, there are 3 parts. first part is the behavior. You can see the lack of eye contact, the lack of engagement. The second part is, of course, the language and the speech part. Most autistic children don't speak, or even if they speak, it's a lot of echolalia, they repeat. And the last part is actually the social. Their connection and interaction with people are not there.
Autism was first proposed in 1943 by Dr. Leo Kanner, a professor at Johns Hopkins University in the United States. At that time, he described autism as a rare and incurable mental disorder. However, since 2013, the American Psychiatric Association and the World Health Organization have clearly pointed out that autism is a neurodevelopmental disorder. It belongs to the same type of problem as children's mental retardation and developmental retardation. However, the factor that causes autism continues to be a puzzle to doctors.
It could be genetic factors of human, it could be genetic factors in our environment, it could be genetic factors in our food. But there's really no specific confirmation as what causes autism.
Medical experts have discovered that the incidence of autism is actually very high since the 1980s. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control, as of March 2020, 2 out of every 100 people are autistic. In Malaysia, there are 300,000 people living with autism across the country.
Autistic features starts coming out at the age of about 18 months to about 2 years. You can see these little signs of the child is not engaging, no interaction, or the child is crying for no apparent reasons. After 2 years, you find your child is still not talking and your child is having a lot of temper tantrum. So these are very little, small telltale signs that you must be aware, and then you seek your pediatrician.
Autism usually begins to manifest in early childhood. As long as one finds out as soon as possible, correct guidance can be given immediately and the symptoms of autism can be improved.
I have seen autistic children who come to me very severe. Then after 1 year of treatment, I see them normalizing very well. After 2 years, you don't know they're autistic. I appeal to the management of the school, try to take in these children. It's an inclusion. They go to school, they have at least friends who can play with them and encourage them to play.
To treat autistic children, we need to use more love and encouragement and create a gentle social environment for them. Perhaps this will make their world just a little brighter.
Lions Reach, a Penang Center for Autistic Children, was established in 1987 and provides free consultation and counseling for children with autism and their families, as well as training courses to help them rejoin society. Follow our report as we learn more about how this center has improved the lives of many autistic spectrum.
The Penang Lions Autism Resource and Education Center has been established for 34 years. This center is dedicated to providing advice and counseling for autistic children and their families. They're dedicated to finding more suitable training methods for autistic children. The center provides a variety of training courses, each of which has a therapeutic purpose. Some 60% of the autistic children who have been counseled are able to integrate into normal society.
The sensory room is mainly for them to regain balance in their senses, and music is more for the coordination of the limbs. We also use neurofeedback therapy to come help our children improve their concentration and help them control their emotions and make them more stable.
The courses and services provided by Lions Reach are free, and only one condition is that parents must participate in the children's training course and center activities. Dr. Si Ching Mei, the voluntary director of the center, pointed out that parents must realize that it is their responsibility to care for and train their children, not to simply pay the center.
When you give it free, you have this feeling that we are working together for the child. It's a collaboration, and parents are more willing to commit to help the child. And therefore, parental training and parental involvement, parental love for the child is, for me, the most important thing. And I always want the parents to feel we are there for them.
Tan Fen Ni's son was nearly 2 years old and still couldn't speak. Anxiously, she took the child to seek medical treatment and went to Lions Reach for special counseling and training.
At that time, we didn't know that it was so serious. When we came here, we really knew what kind of children were autistic. Because there are many courses in this center, and due to our participation in every course since our child was young, we learned a lot about teaching and control. Now at home, he'll also help me do a lot of things like housework.
The son had been trained at the center for 10 years and learned how to do a lot of housework and can gradually communicate with his family now, but this mother always had endless worries about her child.
What I'm actively doing now is paving a way for him. In short, he will teach him well for him to be self-reliant. He will do housework by himself and not worry about others.
Having autistic children in the family is definitely difficult for parents. There's hope that when parents find that their children are prone to autism, they can seek professional advice as soon as possible to allow them to bravely move towards a brighter future with their children.
Besides having a successful acting career, international superstar Michelle Yeoh has always been interested in charity work. Recently, under the invitation of Tzu Vincent Tan, who is also a good friend of hers, the two of them donate 1,250 copies of the English version of the Sutra of Infinite Meanings so more people can share in the teachings of the Buddha.
Under the invitation of Tzu Vincent Tan, international superstar Tzu Dato Sri Michelle Yeoh and her family visit the Jingsi Hall in Kuala Lumpur for the first time.
Yes, we can't get to them, we will go there. And also, we want to give directly.
The Jingsi Hall is the cultivation ground of Tzu Chi volunteers, and it's a beautiful building with lots of Dharma stories to tell.
It's big, but it's very warm. So I wish I had more time to really go around because I see that there are a lot of details, there's a lot of heart in all the different areas. Every photograph has a very deep meaning, and I think that there's so much to learn from being here.
The tour included a video of the mission of Tzu Chi, where Yeoh saw how Tzu Chi volunteers all over are helping the needy in their country.
So I am so happy and touched to see how the Tzu Chi volunteers around the world in so many countries have come out and be there for others, not just in donating food, but I think sometimes it's very important, the love and compassion.
Known as an action film star, Yeoh actually loves to read and was appointed Reading Ambassador of Malaysia in 2010. At the Jingsi Hall, she participated in a book donation ceremony.
I'm very grateful for Tzu Vincent Tan and Tzu Dato Sri Michelle Yeoh for the donation of the English version of the Sutra of Infinite Meanings. This way, the Malaysian English speakers of our volunteers and masters followers can read this book and gain a better understanding of the Dharma teachings.
Very happy to donate this so that we can promote master teaching to English-speaking followers.
Taking time out of her busy schedule, Michelle Yeoh says she hopes to have time in the future to get another tour of the Jingsi Hall and really get to know Tzu Chi.
On Friday morning, a train derailed as it entered a tunnel on the way to Hualien, leading to many injuries and deaths. Tzu Chi Foundation immediately set up a disaster coordination center to help survivors and their families. We pray for their well-being. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.